go ahead and kick off this. Welcome to week 1 of John Maxwell's newest book. We're doing a study on the power of 5 for network marketing. And this is such a cool thing that he did. He actually worked with some of the top Plexus ambassadors to compile this. I would call it compiling, not writing, because I mean, John Maxwell's got 40 years of experience and incredible insight to add value to what we do. And I love that he values network marketing so much. It was really cool in the intro to me to hear how much respect he has for this industry and how, you know, even though it's not the path that he took, he has so much admiration for it and feels that it would have been something that he would have thrived at and loved to do had the opportunity been right for him, you know. So anyways, I want lots and lots of discussion here. So I just wrote down some questions. This week we're focusing on the introduction and the power number 1, which was growth. So I just jotted down some questions, and I would like to have you guys share your input as much as possible. Did anyone notice how he defined social marketing?
No.
And then network marketing. I love his definition of both. Did anyone catch those? I've got it right here at the top of page 4. He said, well, first of all, he broke network marketing down into 2 categories. There's direct marketing, where the representative goes directly to the marketplace with their products. And obviously that's not what we do. Thank goodness. I've been there before. And then there's social marketing, which is the emphasis on the individual as both the product specialist and the consumer. So we consume what we promote, and we are a specialist on it, basically, and we share the good news about it. That's what an ambassador is. So then he shared his definition of the term network marketing as taking a product to the market through the strength of an individual. Have you ever heard that before? I thought that was pretty cool. Through the strength of an individual. And so I think for me, that makes me realize how important, like, my personal, I'm kind of a walking billboard for Plexus, you know, and so what do I choose to make that look like for others? That's kind of a big responsibility if you think about it. And I mean, are we open for business? That's something that maybe you've heard before. People notice, they really do. So, okay, next question.
Oh, shoot.
I'm going to skip over and just pick some of these because I know I don't have enough time to cover all of them. What did he emphasize about the importance of, like, different streams of income in here, specifically in regards to residual income or passive income? Who wants to share their thoughts on that? I'm just going to start calling on people if you guys don't start speaking up here. You know I will, huh, Amy?
I know you will. I'm still waiting for my book, so.
Okay. We'll excuse you tonight.
Thank you.
Do all the others of you have your book? I know Amy does. I think I saw you hold it up. Or Amy Harbing. We've got two Amy's here, so that could be confusing. it looks like Wendy has hers. Yep. And I can't see Christine or Jean, so it's my guess, I guess. Do either of you have any thoughts on that, Wendy?
Yeah, he talks about what his brother told him about the income streams. And he says that a person needs at least 3 streams of income, and one of those streams should be passive, or what some people call residual income. That does not require your continual direct involvement to earn money.
What do you think of that? Sounds pretty enticing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A continual stream of money, basically, that does not require your continual direct involvement. So that's what we have access to here. Is that not incredible?
It's funny though, because where I am right now, it doesn't seem, that part's not easy. To me, the easy part is my 8-hour-a-day job.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other is hard for me right now. So right now I've kind of flip-flopped, but yeah, I would like to be able to have that residual income.
Yeah, do you see the difference there, Wendy, though? Because what happens in your 9-to-5 job, what happens if you don't show up? Do you still get paid?
Yes.
You do?
Well, I do, because I've got vacation time.
So well, that goes away if you don't show up consistently enough. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, plus nobody does my job, so it just gets worse and worse and worse. But yeah, I do see the difference. Just in my mind right now, they've kind of switched places because of where I am with Plexus.
Yeah. But to understand the potential that is there, if you chose to take advantage of it, where you could be working at your full-time job and actually collecting money from Plexus while you're not even messaging people, or, like that stream of income that comes in around the clock every month. Like, that's something you have to build, definitely. They don't just hand it over. But the power behind it being residual is so incredible.
Amazing.
So, pretty neat. Okay. And the only limit is the amount of effort you're willing to put into your business. Now, I think that there may be some people that would argue with that fact, because I think they feel like, well, I've worked so hard and I'm not seeing like the rank advancements that I feel like I should be, or the paychecks that I see a lot of other people, who've been here same as long as I have, or even a shorter amount of time than I have, or whatever. But he emphasized something else in here that I want to segue into from that. Okay. It might take me a second to find it though. Okay, just bear with me here. Okay, it's in the growth section. Oh, right here. Yes, this is what I wanted to segue in from that. So I just went through and highlighted a few things here. My success in life is a result of my personal growth. If you get bigger on the outside than you are on the inside, your business will get smaller. If you get bigger on the inside than you are on the outside, your business will become larger. Personal growth is a silent investment. It doesn't speak up, it shows up. And you know what made me really drove this point home for me is Brooke Hemingway, just having come back recently from the Align retreat, where Brooke Hemingway, hands down right now, the top producer in Plexus, right? And she is such an incredible example of someone who is constantly growing herself, personal growth. She could tell you, you should listen to this podcast, or, I follow this person who does mindset, and, I've been listening to this Audible today, and, this book, blah, blah, blah. She just eats it up like crazy. And so that really made a big impact on me in reading this too, and thinking of her example. And then there was another part that I want to emphasize along with that. Right here, because I see this a lot, and I am definitely guilty as well. But I'm just saying, activity is not necessarily accomplishment. For those of you that say, but I worked so hard, I spent so many hours doing Plexus, and I watched so many trainings and all this stuff. Activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Focus on results, not tasks, because you're no longer getting paid to simply do things. I love this. You're being paid to produce results. This focus on production will require you to guard your calendar closely and then fill it with what matters. Have you ever heard the term IPA, right? Income, producing, activities. How many things do we do with Plexus that are actually income producing? When we break it down, there's not a lot. And it's not hard to do. It's just doing it consistently and doing it, not allowing all the other distractions to make us feel like we're being productive when we're really not. Activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Do not let anything deter your focus or energy from what you have set out to accomplish. I think that is something to remember right there. Okay? Anyone have any thoughts to add to that? Can I share an example? This, like I said, I'm totally guilty of doing this. I'll sit down to work, and 3 hours later, I realize I've been filling that time with fluff. You know what I mean? And how many intentional conversations have I had in that 4-hour time period? That's really, if when you make that the first priority and make sure that that's happening every day, then it's amazing the difference. There's an incredible leader on our team that I work with closely at times. And she really struggles. Well, so we're working on mindset together, okay? And I'm thinking she won't mind if I share this. I'm not going to say names or anything, so it doesn't really matter. But she's got some setbacks in her mindset that she'll literally sit down and she'll work Plexus for 4 hours. And in that time frame, she'll send one message, you know what I mean? And it's painstaking, the way she's watching a training and gathering information and like getting ideas from other people and all this stuff before, you know, she'll send a message. I'm just kind of exaggerating that point and using like one example from one conversation to say that like I've done stuff like that before. And I think that there's sometimes like probably a lot of us do stuff like that sometimes, you know what I mean? So think about that in your growth process. Okay. Let's back up here. I have another question. So why must we desire to do something significant for ourselves first before we can make an impact on making a difference for others? Did anyone catch that?
I think partly it's because it gives us more value to share with other people.
Right. And
personal growth puts us in a place where we have more value that we can help share with people.
Exactly. Yes, that's basically what he says in a different way. So he says, we have to start with, I want to do something significant for myself. When you read that statement, I bet you think it's pretty selfish, right? Your first reaction may be to distance yourself from it. And I think that there's so many of us that fight that concept that you are a business owner, right? You own a business. And whether that business is thriving or, you know, whether there's some lack of success there, you are a business owner with Plexus. And I think a lot of us hesitate or like fight that concept because we don't want people to look at us and think that we are doing something selfish. We are wanting something significant for ourselves. And that's why we're doing this, right? And it's totally okay to be open and, you know, embrace that beautiful idea that we have the opportunity to do something significant for ourselves, with our lives, for our families. And we're willing to step out and take ownership of that. He says, like, you know, every time we get on a plane, the flight attendant always tells us, put on your own mask first, right? Before you help others. Because it is impossible to help others if you haven't taken care of yourself. Same thing here, okay? We can't make a significant impact and do things for others when our own needs and desires aren't taken care of, basically, okay? Next question. So he goes from, I want to do something significant for myself. That's the important step one in network marketing. You have to embrace that and be okay with it, that you want something significant for yourself. And that moves into you want to do something significant for others by adding value. And network marketing will like creates that opportunity in such an incredible way. And then the third step from there that it moves into is I want to do something significant with others. So I love that progression and how he lays it out there. And here's a thought he shares. When you work together with your teammates, you can do remarkable things. If you work alone, you leave a lot of victories on the table. Collaboration has a multiplying effect on everything you do because it releases and harnesses not only your skills, but also those of everyone on your team. So I thought that was really neat. Sorry, my son's in there being noisy. Can you guys hear? Yeah?
All right.
Sorry.
Not very much.
Okay. He's got his headphones on playing a game, so he can't even hear me if I tell him to be quiet. Okay. All right. Let me sum up this introduction. I loved what he said right here. He talks about how there's very few industries that recognize and celebrate people like network marketing. Brett! Hey, I'm on a Zoom. Can you be quiet, please, for a little while? Sure. Thank you. All right. So he says, no matter where you're at in life right now, you have the potential to get where you want to be through network marketing. You will be surrounded by leaders who will challenge and encourage you. You will be surrounded by peers who will sharpen and help you grow. You will be surrounded by possibilities that can expand your horizons. The opportunity is significant and significance matters, which is why you should choose network marketing. And then he highlights the 10 benefits that he went through in the introduction. Okay. There's way too much to cover here, but let me just find one more question to ask, and then I'll give you guys a chance to just kind of share your takeaways, your main takeaways, maybe quickly. I highlighted a couple things. Oh, this was probably one of my favorite parts, guys. Failure is your friend. Anyone love that section? Did you guys read that part? Okay. Let me read a couple highlights from it. Failure is not a problem. Everybody fails. It's a fact of life. What is a problem, however, is a negative response to failure. Your perspective on failure determines whether failure becomes your friend or your enemy. Who would have thought that failure could be a friend, right? When you consider that that is actually something that you can utilize failure, then it can become a friend that creates great success in your life. So he shares, in network marketing, even the best of the best get many, many no's in their business lifetime. They have found a way to view those no's as one more step towards a yes. They've made failing their friend. So how do you know when failure is your friend?
When you learn from it.
Yes. When you
So I was listening to a podcast the other day from Preston Pugmire, and he was sharing, I think it was Jack Canfield's book, where, you know, the phrase ready, set, fire. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes. Ready, set, shoot, something like that. Jack Canfield changed it and said ready, no, what is it?
I thought it was ready, aim something.
Ready, aim, fire, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So what he says is that it got switched to ready, fire, aim. And I think talking about this is often we're waiting for perfection. We're waiting to be able to do everything exactly right. And so we get ourselves busy. We become consumers of information, rather doers of that information. Whereas if we would learn bits and pieces and then fire whatever we're doing, try whatever we're doing. If it doesn't work, or if we fail, or things are not, we don't have quite the good results we're looking for, that is when you re-aim and you fine-tune it. And I think that's a lot of what this is talking about. It's, with failure, if we learn from it, we can do better the next time, and that is how we grow.
Love that. Yeah, he talks about how that's one thing that's so incredible about network marketing is that it's in the practice that we become successful. And the beauty of it is we earn income during the practice, right? We earn as we learn. It's the practice that makes all the difference. So just something to think about, like, how are you practicing? And then I love how he shares at the end of each chapter the exercise to act, A-C-T. Act is how are you going to apply. C is what can you change. And T is what is the most important thing I need to teach others from this chapter. I love that. How cool. So, let's hear your takeaways. Ladies, Jean is not able to talk. Oh, she typed something to us, though. And Amy had to go. Paralysis of analysis, Jean says. John says you have to value the lessons it teaches you. Yes. Okay, so let's hear your main takeaways. Wendy, did you get to read it?
I did. And the thing I like very most, I love motivational speakers. My job, when I go to trainings, we have motivational speakers. But what I liked was that this was directly talking about network marketing. And it hit home with me far more than just someone talking about, you can do this and this and this, and it will motivate you. I loved the part about being a failure, and I underlined a lot of them because there are a lot of them that made sense to me, that hit home to me, and so I underlined them because I wanted to remember that I'm not a failure. But he did a very good job, I think, of selling network marketing and making it a real business, selling as a real business. And I think that just the overall feel of that is what I enjoyed the most.
Good. I love that. So kind of opened your eyes a little bit to the vision of what you've got your hands on here, huh? Yeah. That's beautiful. Okay, Amy, main takeaways. What would you say?
I loved one of the statements that says, there is no growth in my comfort zone and no comfort in my growth zone. We often talk about stepping out of our comfort zone, and we think maybe that there is still some comfort lingering around there. Nope. But that's where we're going to find the growth. So you can either be comfortable or you can grow. Those are your two options. And I think the benefits of growth and being in that discomfort for a while far outweigh just sitting in our place of comfort where we're not growing. So that was one of the things that really spoke to me.
I highlighted that quote too, and I actually think that's what I would love to actually put that up on my wall in my office, because isn't that such a great, can you imagine if you read that out loud every time before you did your IPAs, and also kind of some of these thoughts on failure is your friend. That's a really, that one stuck out to me too.
Right.
There is no growth in my comfort zone and no comfort in my growth zone. That's so cool.
Oh.
I like too that he reminded us that yesterday's gone. It ended tonight. So you don't dwell on things that you've done in the past. You learn from them, but you don't dwell on the mistakes that you might have made along the way. And that was right before the part, Whitney, that you talked about, where he said activity is not necessarily accomplishment. And I think we do a lot of busy work. And I keep feeling like, I don't feel like this so much anymore, but I did, especially at first. Like, I've got to know, I have to know all these things before I can start sharing the products. So we create a lot of busy work for ourselves instead of just jumping in and going forward like we should.
You know, it's a really cool thought I want to add to that, what you just shared, is I find that the people who have overall, what I see is ambassadors have the biggest burst of success in the beginning when they don't know anything. They're just excited. And if you're willing to do the talking for them and just encourage them and just let them use that excitement, that's when we see this, you know, this huge potential for creating momentum versus I feel like once they've been around for a while and they feel like, oh, well, I got to learn this and I got to do this and, you know, I got to start doing this on my own, then a lot of times I see them slow down at that point. So you don't have to know it all. And that's, you know, how cool that we can earn as we learn, and never place a higher priority on the information and being an expert over being passionate about what we have and just being willing to put it out there. You know what I mean? So, okay. Well, our time is up. Thanks, ladies, for your input. I'm excited to see what we continue to learn from John and his expertise. I can almost guarantee that I'm not going to be joining in from Maui next week, so I will have someone else lead the discussion. Do we have a volunteer here by chance? I'm not looking at you directly, right? Okay, I'll talk to some of the...
So I wouldn't mind doing it. I'm doing Preston's training, and he tends to kind of go on. We made it like by a pinch of a minute.
Oh, really?
From him, and yeah, it, you know,
I know
it
how
went
he is.
over.
One of them went 3.5 hours for real.
Yes,
like,
last week it went really long. So
you don't
that's my only little qualm about it. I don't want to miss out on that.
Okay, I understand, because I know you're investing in that, and I'm so excited that you are. There's value there for you. Okay, well, I'll just ask, I'll ask one of the other leaders to lead us next week, and I'll make sure to take my book with me and do my study. I'll share this recording, and thanks for joining in, ladies. Have a great night.
Thank you.
It was great. Thank you.
See ya.